This week we're going to take a look at the trim brushes in Nomad. There's a wide range of tools including the Lasso Tool, the Line Tool, Rectangle, Ellipse and Polygon, and basically they all do the same thing in a different way, and they remove parts of the mesh for you to shape it into a much more hard-edged model. So let's take a look and see what they all do. Let's start by opening a primitive. So go to the scene menu and look for sphere and tap on sphere. Now, before we go into the trim brushes, let's just have a look at what you get when you open a primitive. So there's a green button there that says validate. And if you validate that, that becomes an item you can sculpt on. But before you validate, there are options here at the bottom that will allow you to change that. So you can change the subdivision level before you start, which is interesting because you can go all the way down and have quite a very, very low polygon model. Or you can do change the size. And there's one or two other things you can do based on which of the different primitives you choose. Now, we don't need to do that because we're going to use the trim brush. So I'm going to knock the subdivision up one more and validate. That means I can now sculpt on the model. And I've got wireframe switched on, and that's simply because I want to show you what the trim brushes do to a wireframe or to the model with showing the wireframe. Okay, so where's the trim brush? So you come over to the menu on the side here, and if you look down here, you have trim here. And if you want to, close it at the top and just have your menu at the top like this. I prefer it like that, simply because I'm not scrolling up and down to look for what I want. And it works quite well for me up in that top corner. Now on the other side, on the right hand side of the screen, I've got all of the options for trim that we're about to have a look at now. So we've got symmetry switched on, and we're going to work on this sphere on both sides, and we're just going to work down and use all the trim brushes. So before I do that, I'm just going to use the rectangular one, and I'm going to show you what happens with wireframe on. So I'll keep it at the subdivision level it started at, and I'll just drag down like so. And what that does is it trims it off completely, so it removes it on the left and right hand side. So there's a couple of things I just want to point out first of all. Whenever you're trimming, if I want to trim a rectangle like that, you should be in orthographic mode and flat on the screen. And what does that mean? So if you look up here, make sure you're in orthographic and you've hit snap here. And that means you'll be flat directly down the Z plane here, which means that your rectangle won't cut off at an angle. If you're not, for example, you just need to move, so I have to put view back on to move. If you're not like that and you're at an angle like this and you start trimming, or if you're not in orthographic and you're in perspective, you're going to get things like this. You're going to be off at odd angles or more like this. And that's fine if you want lemon wedges, which is not what we're after. So let's go back. So we'll switch orthographic back on and snap view to make sure we're completely orthographic. So this is like a front view in other programs with no perspective at all. So what I didn't show you then is what was happening when I did the trim. So I'm going to use the rectangle again, trim it off, and then back to view to make sure we can move around. And look at what's happened here. So it's trimmed it off and it's replaced the trim with geometry. Now, we're using the rectangle, so it's going to give us a completely flat plane, and it's joined it all around the edges. Oops, I've just done an undo by mistake there. Let's snap the view again. Do it again. I'll do it like that, so it's really close. Now, look at what happens on the edges. So it does its best with the amount of polygons that we've got to make this a nice smooth edge, but it doesn't work. It gives us a very rough edge all the way around. So while we're doing trim work, how do we resolve that? So if we just undo again, snap to the front. Before we do it, if we go up to our topology menu and we look here and do maybe a subdivide. There's two options. You can do a voxel remesh or a subdivide. So we'll subdivide it and subdivide it again. So we've now got 100,000 polygons there. And we can delete the lower And that means that is exactly how our model now is just short of 100,000 polygons. We could go one higher actually, so it's a really dense mesh, and delete the lower again. Now again, try voxel remeshing here if you want, and that's this one, and you just increase the voxel grid to make it high resolution, but we don't need to do that. So let's trim that again and have a look at what it does to us. So let's hit snap view again to make sure we snap back on the view, and then trim again. Now take a look at how much cleaner that is. So it's still doing the same algorithm underneath, it's still making the jaggedy edge, but because we're 4 times 4 more polygons, when you turn the wireframe off now, you're almost getting a smooth result. And that's how we're going to do it for this section. So we're going to have a higher res mesh while we're working, which means we'll see really nice smooth edges. You could go, and because we're only low, we're not high, you know, we're not using lots and lots of models in this. You could go even higher. So I could subdivide again. So that's 1.5 million, which I will do actually for this example, because the iPad can take it. Okay, so we've got now this slice. What do we do with the slice? So we can carry on slicing it with the rectangle and see what happens. We're getting really nice edges now. Let's just see if we can clean it a bit tighter. Keep going back to view so we can rotate it. Now look what happened there, because obviously we left the front. It's got that's still got the circle, you know, the bevel of or the round of the front. So we can come to the side, snap view again, and then we can snap view again, and then carry on with the rectangle and keep taking it away. So we've basically we've ended up with like a rectangular shape, which is great, because we, you know, if that's how you want it, you could have started with a cube, so it wouldn't have been a huge problem. So let's go back and start again and see what else we can do. So let's have a double check at the level of our polygons. So we're still at, this is at 300 and what's that, 390, so 400,000 polygons. Subdivide it one more time, delete the lower, snap the view. Okay, so what happens if we clip off with the rectangle a little bit less than full? That's all the way up and that's not. So let's do that, and that's what happens. So what you're seeing there now is it won't clip it out completely. What it will do, it will give you this arc or bevel inside. What you could do is this, which is go up to the settings for it and switch on fill holes, switch off fill holes. I'm just going to leave that one on, which is allow symmetry in the flip mode, if it'll let me do it. And now watch what happens. So that looks like it's worked, doesn't it? But it hasn't, because what it's done is it's actually removed the polygons. And there may be times when you need this, so bear in mind that you can do this. So you can remove, you can completely remove the polygons and basically hide and show parts of them. Well, you can't re-show them because they've gone. But that is a perfectly good way of getting rid of geometry and leaving it open. So that's another one to remember. We're not going to use it for this exercise. So that setting, we're going to turn it back on. Now there are one or two other things in there. Rectangular import instead of square, and you've got circle and centered for different ways of using the ellipse, which we're about to look at in a moment. Okay, back again, snap view, double check what we've got. Yep, still at 1.5 million. So let's have a look at what else we've got. So we've got the Lasso Tool, and if we use the Lasso Tool, let's just click off that. You pretty much will guess what this does. So that's going to give me the ability to do things like this. Now, because it's doing it's filling the gap in with curvature, you can use this for a lot of organic shapes. It's really useful for anything like aliens or cycle helmets or anything where it's a combination of hard surface and organic. So bear that one in mind. It'll give you some really nice scallops. You could go and do crazy things like this, and that'll give you really nice scallops for things like bike helmets. So have a go at that kind of thing, but it's trial and error. You won't be able to slice right the way through the mesh in a simple way. So just bear that in mind, that you can only go so far with it with the lasso tool. So I'll just do it again, just do a few more crazy shapes and see what we can get. Gone over the symmetry line there. So the symmetry is a little bit off sometimes. You can see there it's not quite coping with the symmetry, but it's not surprising with the amount of calculations it's doing. So I'm happy with that one. I'm happy that I've shown you that one. So what about, let's have a look at line. I like this one. It's very simple. It's just savages away the edges like so. Back to view and look at that. So now I'm doing it quite arbitrarily here. I'm just slicing off areas left, right and centre. So I'm not using the snap view. So again, if you just want to remove a part of the mesh, just want to slice an arm off, that's a pretty powerful tool just to hack through. Remember, it goes all the way across the screen. So you are gonna slice through some things that you might not want to lose if you're not careful. So just be a little bit mindful of using that tool too aggressively. Okay, go back again. So the next one, we've done rectangle, so ellipse. I think you already know what this is. And this is where the setting was up here. If you remember, you can have a circle instead of an ellipse and you can center it. So let's do that. So there you go. Now you see the difference there. I've done that on purpose. Let's just do it from a snapped view. So if I do the circle and it's now set to centered, as you saw, we can tap on the mesh and do it there like that. But if I try to do it in the middle, it won't do it. So it's clipping off the front, but it's not giving me a hole through the middle. So this isn't any kind of a Boolean tool. It's not a way of removing right the way through the mesh. So again, you just have to be, have to be aware of what this tool can and can't do at this point. So it is very, very useful, but it's not going to give you everything that you want as a drilling tool or anything like that. Okay, back again. Keep destroying this tool, don't we? This sphere, don't we? Okay, next one. It's the last one really. So you've got the polygon. So you've already seen this in a way with the line, but this is going one stage further. So as I'm drawing out the points, and these can be moved around as well, I'm just adding the points. I go back to the green dot and finish it, and it slices it off. Now it missed a bit there, so let's have a look at moving this around. So instead of redrawing it, I'll just do that, and that was acting like a line slice there, wasn't it? So we'll do polygon again, 1 point, 2 point, 3, 4, 5. Just do a bit jaggedy and see what happens. And there you go. Now there's some errors happening here. There's some oddness happening, but it's it's a tool that it will have certain uses, but wherever possible, there you see it. It's good for some kind of a mechanical robot or something like that. But that you can get a lot of it with the line tool, the rectangle or the ellipse. So just be very careful how you use it. I'm just going to do a few odd ones from this angle to show you. There you go. Look at the edges there. They can be a little bit unpredictable, but this is a cool way to make robots. It's a cool way to make crazy shapes that you then chamfer off. It's instead of using things like the let's give you an example, like the flatten tool, where you flatten an edge that's still very organic. This is giving you the shape first of all. Now the combination of it is what I would suggest. But you won't get everything just with one tool, or by trimming away. So as with anything, it's finding the best solution for what you want to do. And if you're after really sharp, hard surfaces, very, very predictable sharp angles, then this probably isn't the tool for you. In fact, digital sculpting is probably not the tool for you, because that's not what its strongest point is. You can do it with very high polygon meshes, but you just need to be a little bit careful. One tool I think you should try is this. So we go up to primitives and we get Tri Planar. And if I use the mask over here and strike up, clear the mask, you'll see what happens here. It's going to delete our head. Now we've got a box like this, and we haven't got perspective on again. Remember the perspective like that? So we're still on orthographic. So we'll just go to snap it at this view, and we're just going to use the mask, and we're going to draw something on this side here. In fact, we'll do it on this side here. So I'm just going to draw a sphere, something like that. Smaller brush, and just make some shapes down here. Doesn't really matter what we make at the moment. Negative away. And that's drawn a shape, an arbitrary shape on this side here. Now on the bottom, I've got symmetry still on. I'm going to draw another shape. And on the back here, with symmetry still on, I'm going to draw another shape. But look at what's happening straight away. So what this tool is doing, it's called Tri Planar, so it's 3 planes. So what this is doing is taking all 3 projections, and it's making you some geometry based on those 3 projections. If you know programs like ZBrush, you'll know this as shadow box, and it's been around even longer than that. So I saw it in a Japanese program called Expression Tools Shade, and that was, believe it or not, all the way back to the early 90s. So these aren't new, fundamentally new tools. It's a very simple process. And if you think about it, it's very much like going back to, very analog ways of doing things. So if we make something out of a block of wood, quite often we'd have a drawing for both walls. So it's simply a digital representation of that. Well worth it, because you can make some crazy shapes with very little effort. But it's not something, you either use it or you won't. So, shadow box is not a thing. ZBrush is not a thing that became very popular, really. Although, you never know when you'll need something like this. Sometimes you can make quite a crazy shape, really, that you couldn't do any other way. It's just really quick to get it made this way. So have a go at that and just see if it's something that you can use in your design. So have a go, try different materials, because as you can see on screen there, I'm using the matte cap black stone, which just gives you a nice glossy feel to the model, and it makes it look very different as you're using it. Try all of the trim brushes and try them on different types of models. So get more organic models and slice them up, and get more, robots, cars, even with characters, the way you want a stylized look. Just try trimming off parts of the character and see what effects you can get. If this video is the kind of thing that you like, then give it a thumbs up. It really helps us to attract new artists to our channel. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and we'll let you know when we upload videos, which at the moment is on a Wednesday and a Friday. We try and keep the iPad sculpting videos to a Friday so that you always know what you're getting. And have a great week.